Hi, I'm Ryan O'Connor.
I'm Emily Hirsch. We're here from the Whatcom Conservation District. We're here to talk to you a little bit about the Lake Whatcom Homeowner Incentive Program and give you some ideas for some things that you might be able to achieve in your backyard with the program.
So let's go take a look at some native plants.
So you might ask, what exactly is a native plant? Well, a native plant is one that existed in the region prior to the arrival of European settlers. That's generally the cutoff because it's assumed that when these people came to North America, they brought different plants and seeds from their own country because they liked them or they were specifically looking for a particular plant. Maybe they didn't know what they were going to find. Native plants have evolved with native fauna. That makes them particularly suited to support a variety of wildlife. Native plants have a lot of different structure, which is one of the elements that wildlife need. A lot of native plants support specific habitat or support specific wildlife species. Some butterflies can only lay their eggs on certain plants. Think about a monarch and a milkweed. When the caterpillar hatches, it can only eat that type of plant. If it's not laid on the right plant, it will starve. That means by planting native species, you are supporting wildlife and creating a space where you can attract wildlife to your home. So native plant demonstration gardens are actually a really great place for you to get an idea of things that you want to incorporate into your landscape, but they're also a really good place for you to decide what you don't like. And I show this plant here. It's the thimbleberry. It's a native raspberry, has delicious, yummy berries. But thimbleberry is a plant that doesn't like to stay in its place. So when you plant it, you can actually really expect that it's going to spread. And so what you see behind me here is a nice clump of thimbleberry, but it's moving all around. And so it is spread from where we've put it to anywhere from, it's running five feet away. So it is starting to move around. So if a nice tidy garden is what you're after, thimbleberry, things like rose might not be the plants that would work the best for you. Nootka rose is a lovely wild rose that will bless you with fragrant pink flowers in the springtime. It is an open flower, which is really inviting to bees. It's not really the best choice for a small landscape or one that you'd like to keep tidy because it does tend to spread. But if you're planning a large project or you just are looking for that natural feel, Nootka rose might be the plant for you. This is subalpine spirea. The reason I like this plant a lot is not only is it beautiful with these pink fuzzy flowers on top, but this is a shrub that won't get very tall. So if you're concerned about maintaining a view, this is a great option for keeping things low. So today we are in for a treat because the red columbine is blooming in its glory. Columbine is a plant in the buttercup family, and hummingbirds are really going to be attracted to this plant due to its color. Washington has 3 species of Oregon grape, tall, medium, and short, so you get a lot of variety in that one type of plant. All are evergreen and have a beautiful spike of yellow flowers in the spring. The leaves are compound and they're comprised of a bunch of little leaves that look like holly leaves. The leaves turn reddish in the winter. They stay evergreen and on the plant, but they turn reddish, and they're accompanied by a group of dark purple berries that make it a really attractive plant for your landscape, not only in the spring where they're fragrant and beautiful, but also in the fall while they remain colorful. Salal is a common understory plant of our Pacific Northwest forests. It tends to do better in shade. You can plant it in the sun, but it's going to require a little bit of extra care. It can be really slow to get started, but once it does, it will start growing after a couple of years a little bit more vigorously. It'll put on more growth to get larger. Salal is a plant that you could prune if you wanted. It can get as tall as 3 feet, but often won't, especially in a sunny site. Mock orange is a multi-stem deciduous shrub that produces really fragrant white flowers that have a citrusy scent. It grows pretty quickly and it actually takes well to pruning. We'll show you an example of how that might look in a bit, but it's a great plant for dry, sunny sites. You get that fragrant flower, and it is actually a nectar plant for a lot of butterfly species.
When homeowners are thinking of installing native landscaping, one thing I like them to keep in mind is that when first installed, the plants will be small, the mulch will be visible, and it's going to take some maintenance to get them going. The plants we've seen in NC's show garden today are 3 to 4 growing seasons old and are well established.
So we get a lot of questions about maintenance and how to deal with weeds and so on. One thing is really important to know is that while your native landscaping is low maintenance, it's not no maintenance. So a great way to help deal with weed pressure is to plant these spreading ground covers. Kinnikinnick here is a great evergreen ground cover, so it provides you that protection year round. And then this coastal strawberry is another one. It tends to be evergreen in our area. It's pretty vigorous spreader. And so by spreading and covering the ground surface, weeds can't, the seeds can't germinate. So that's going to help in the long run as your garden becomes more established and reduce some of that maintenance need. You know, a lot of people say that you can't prune native plants, but in nature, deer and elk actually do a lot of that work for the plants. And I like to show this plant here. This is a mock orange, and normally this plant might be really tall and multi-stemmed, but you can see all these little cut bits here, and that's where a deer has come along and munched on the ends. And so they have actually kept this more sprawling type shrub into in a little bit more of a tidy order here. So you can prune some native plants if the wild shapes don't appeal to you. You can keep them in check by pruning.
If you have a turned over tree in your yard, this is a great way to incorporate it into a landscape. Large weight debris such as root balls and even boulders like this are part of natural stream systems all around the Pacific Northwest. Several HIP BMPs such as infiltration trenches, rain gardens, and MFDs or media filter drains are installed subsurface or below the ground. Wooden chip paths are a great way to access your native landscaping, but a gravel path can also be an infiltration trench or a media filter drain. This is how you can incorporate one of those features into a native landscaping and get 2 features in one. Any soil excavated during the installation of your subsurface features can be replaced, mounded like this, mulched, and then planted. It can add a lot of topography to a normally flat landscape. This is an example of a dry creek bed. This is a common feature integrated into HIP projects. It can be used as just a natural sloping feature to exhibit rock, or it can be used as an outflow for infiltration trenches, rain gardens, and media filter drains. It's a great way to add some texture to your landscape.
Thanks for joining us today at NC's Native Plant Demonstration Garden. We hope what we've shown you has been inspiring and has given you some ideas for things to incorporate into your HIP project.
Feel free to visit us online at www.lakewhatcomhip.org, and we'll see you out there.